There is no fairy tale castle, just a man with no memory and a poem. Pearl Girl, a tale of love's magic. Once upon a time, there lived a man named Blue. He was cursed by an evil witch. Her curse made him forget, and he couldn't remember who he was anymore. Who was he? At times, he thought he remembered bits and pieces of his past, but his only real clue was a ragged poem, written in his own handwriting on worn parchment. Lava to rock, water to stone, liquid drops, hard as a bone, an empty glass, my empty past. Vessel filled with innocent tears, love's kisses heal growing fears, restoring faded early years. Pearl of love glow fiery white, change witch's curse to golden light. He had no idea what the poem meant. It was like a puzzle. The poem was secret code. Episode 1. Gypsy Circus. Blue was desperate to overcome the curse and regain his memory. He read and read the magical poem. He chanted it, he sang it, he shouted it. He even whispered it. Nothing happened. His memory was gone. All he had was the poem, but he knew it would be the secret to free him from the curse. One spring, he was camping in the forest near the Isle of Trizzle. He barely had his fire started when he heard the crunching sound of large ox carts loaded with cargo. Running to a rock overhang, he carefully peered over. A rainbow of wagons and carts were rumbling slowly toward the island barge on the seashore. By the animal smells and gypsy music, he knew the circus was heading to Trizzle for the circus fair. "Hello?" he called down. "Hello?" A gloomy girl's voice responded. "When will the circus perform?" he questioned the voice hidden in the cart. "Tomorrow, but please do not come," she said sadly, still unseen. By now, the carts were too far away to talk anymore. What an odd thing to say, he thought. Do not come to the circus? Who was this girl? He returned to his fire, puzzling over the mysterious voice. Her voice seemed familiar. This bothered him. Maybe she was someone from his past. He decided to visit the circus. Episode 2. Tent of the Freaks. The circus fair on the Isle of Trizzle was a big event. Blue strolled in gaping at the commotion. Circus tents had grown like billowing mushrooms. The crowd buzzed. Two men nearby gossiped. "Tell me, good man, what freaks are you showing this year?" a scruffy man said in the crowd outside a large orange carnival tent.
"Same as last year. Two-headed boy, bearded lady, giant, snake-eyed cow, baby dragon, your usual," replied the unkempt other. "Not one new freak?" the first quizzed. "No. Oh, wait. Oh yeah, there is a new freak called Pearl Girl. Strange name, eh?"
"Never heard of her. Does she perform?"
"She's not a performer. She sits, and you look at her. That's it."
"Are you sure?"
"Fool. The maid's covered by pearly necklaces. Thousands of 'em."
The man looked mystified.
"The pearls be made from her own tears, see? Every time the girl cries, she wears more pearls."
Blue thought, the witch poem. Pearl of love, liquid drops hard as bone, innocent tears, these were the clues. "You're joking. You're not serious, are ya?"
"Very serious. The poor girl got a witch's curse."
Blue leans in closer. "Well, can't she just get rid of them pearls?"
"Nope. It's part of the rotten curse. She walks all bent over neath the weight of the pearls. Others feed her and bathe her. Her life's a ruin. Poor, poor girl,"
he said, shaking his head. "But those pearls are worth millions in gold."
"Wrong again, friend. She can't never sell those wretched pearls. No sane person'll buy them. They're cursed, remember?"
"Too bad. Poor thing, eh?" Fascinated by what the men said, Blue followed close as the two walked to the tent of the freaks. Blue dug for a coin and placed it on the ticket stand. He was ushered through the tent opening. His eyes took a few seconds to adjust to the dim light. Then he headed straight for the sign that said, "Pearl Girl. She cries, and pearls form right before your eyes." Then he saw her, the most angelic face surrounded by pearls. Strands and strands and strands. Men snickered. Women oohed and ahed.
"Look at those glorious pearls,"
said one woman.
"She is so lovely. She should be a pearly mantelpiece." "Yes, wouldn't she look good glowing above the fire?"
laughed another. Blue watched Pearl Girl's face. He couldn't take his eyes from hers. As the taunts increased, the first watery tear rolled from her dark eye. Halfway down her cheek, the liquid tear changed into a solid pearl, which fell to magically unite with 1,000 others. The spectators squealed with delight and amazement.
"Look, here comes another watch, Mother,"
said a young boy.
"There, 'tis another tear,"
said an old woman. "You are all fools," Blue said to the mocking group. "She's not a toy or a thing. Can't you see she's human?" In shame, the group hung their heads and shuffled off quietly. Blue looked at Pearl Girl, drowning in her sea of pearls. "Pearl Girl, can I speak to you, please?" Blue begged.
"You must go,"
she whispered.
"Look, the manager is coming over with his strong man. I'll meet you at dusk near the big tent. Hurry, I'm worried."
"Very well, lady," Blue said slowly and tipped a pretend hat with an exaggerated bow.
"Enough silliness. Go, please," she implored.
Blue escaped under the back tent flap with a smile on his face. She was the unseen voice in the passing cart. Blue knew he could help Pearl Girl and she'd help him. The sun crept slowly across the sky. Finally, the purple and red hues of sundown brought dusk. Blue ran to the main tent. He paced by the entrance impatiently. He asked one of the tent workers if Pearl Girl was there. Nothing. No one. No message. Time passed. They were taking down the tents and packing up. Blue slumped on a crate and wrung his hands. Why didn't she meet him? Episode 3. Forest Knife. Later, after a tiring walk back to the forest, Blue lay alone near his small campfire. Crickets and frogs were making a cheery night serenade. They didn't seem to make Blue any happier. He was restless. He flopped on the ground under a starry sky. The campfire dwindled to hot coals. Pearl Girl, he thought. Suddenly, out of the dark trees emerged a circus freak. Blue grabbed his knife and stood ready for danger. A two-headed boy stood shadowed in the starlight.
"We mean no harm, noble person,"
said the head on the right. "Then why do you creep up on me in the dark? Tell me," Blue shouted.
"No cause for alarm, friend. We've come to ask about Pearl Girl. Nothing more," said the left head.
"Then sit and ask."
"Where is Pearl Girl?"
asked left head.
"Idiot,"
said right head.
"You mustn't be so bold." "Then you question him,"
left head said, shrugging the left shoulder. "What's your purpose here?" Blue asked.
"On behalf of my bold other half, I ask humbly for your forgiveness," right head said. "We beg you, please reveal where you've hidden our Pearl Girl."
Blue was surprised these two already knew about Pearl Girl and his brief meeting. But then, probably the whole circus was gossiping. These two muttonheads were tiring Blue. But he had no company and he did want to speak of Pearl Girl.
Very well. I wish to speak with Pearl Girl because I believe we're cursed by the same witch. But believe me, I haven't hidden her. She never even showed up for our meeting.
Really? So what's in it for you? Why do you want to talk to Pearl Girl? Asked Righthead, shaking his head with despair.
I can't remember my past. This girl has the key to release me.
No, she doesn't have any keys. Only pearls, said Lefthead, laughing. You did say you would remain silent, smouldered Righthead.
Yes, the pearls are the key, Blue replied. Her pearls are made of tears. I believe innocent tears are poison to a witch. If the pearls change back to tears and a witch touches them, my curse vanishes. That's said in witch lore and dark poems. I've read these many times on my journeys.
How tidy, normal man, but her tears are solid bony pearls. How will they be made liquid again? Said Righthead, smiling.
Kisses of love, Blue said, reciting his magic poem in his head.
Does she love you? Asked Righthead.
I hope she will.
Both heads laughed, and then laughed some more. You're a fool, natural one. You've met this girl just today and now hope to love her. Ha! Your motive is just selfishness. You don't really care for poor Pearl Girl, said Righthead. I love her, sighed Lefthead. You're a head lacking in good judgment. Why do you love the girl? Retorted Righthead. When she cries, I love the little pearls she makes, cooed Lefthead.
Then you love the pearls, not Pearl Girl, said Blue.
Ignore the fool. He has a love rumple over this girl, said Righthead. And does she love you? Said Lefthead, leaning his head forward.
Jabbering fools, you're wasting my sleep. Where's Pearl Girl? Blue said.
That's our purpose in coming here, said Righthead.
If I knew where she was, I'd be wooing her right now, Blue replied, dejected, reminded of his thwarted state.
Then, gentle insult. We leave you to your fire and say good night, said Righthead. The two-headed boy walked off into the darkness, arguing with himself. For some time alone under the stars, Blue thought of his quest for freedom and Pearl Girl. Could he love her? Was there indeed a link between him and her and the mystical poem? Darkness surrounded him as the coals dwindled to ash. Finally, he slept. Episode 4. The Witch Master. A snapping crack electrified Blue from his groggy sleep. He lay on the ground, unmoving. Bandits or beasts? Which would it be? He thought. He fumbled for his knife, but it was too late. Large hands grasped his shoulders and soon he was high in the air. Before him was the giant from the freak show.
Great giant, have I offended you?
Blue wheezed, gasping for breath.
You haven't, but my master wants to speak with you now,
the giant said. And soon, at a giant's pace, Blue was in the manager's wagon. The squat manager glared at the baffled Blue. What have you done with my Pearl Girl? The manager sharply demanded.
I haven't seen her. I'm telling the truth, Blue said.
You're lying. You're in love with her and stole her from me.
Manager, I only met her today. I haven't got Pearl Girl.
I paid good gold for that girl. I want her back. Why should I trust you?
Because I fear she's in grave danger.
You only care for yourself, lying dog. But good enough. She's a slave girl. I bought her from a witch.
He mused for a moment.
Blue decided to trick the manager.
The witch is old, ugly, and bent. A nameless hag, perhaps?
Asked Blue. He did remember all witches had these things.
Yes. How did you know? I'm a man who knows witches, Blue pretended. And their dark hearts. Surely the hag desires only the cold pearls, not warm, Pearl Girl. The evil sorceress will kill our Pearl Girl.
Blue glanced from eye to eye. Each person quietly examined how little they really knew about magic. The manager broke the silence.
You're right. It's the curse, Witchmaster.
Blue masked a smile not to betray his delight.
Witchmaster? Quaint.
He mused to himself.
Perhaps we could use your assistance after all.
Manager, I'll rescue Pearl Girl on one condition.
No one can survive against an evil witch, the manager loudly interrupted.
Well, when I survive and if I bring you a fantastic freak producing more gold than Pearl Girl, and if Pearl Girl is not dead, will you let Pearl Girl go free?
Of course. I'm no idiot, snorted the manager.
Then you and I have a bargain, Blue said to the idiot manager. Episode 5. Secret Map. As Blue happily left the manager's wagon, he was surprised to find the two-headed boy blocking his path.
If Pearl Girl is in danger, we'll help you.
No, I must go alone, Blue protested.
And where will you go?
Asked Righthead smugly. I have no idea, actually, Blue replied, gazing at his worn-out boots, a little embarrassed by his answer. Probably the closest witch castle or cave?
Well, I've got a secret map,
whispered Lefthead, smiling.
You do? What's your price?
Blue asked. The two heads turned their back to Blue and conferred warmly over the map's price. Blue waited for them to speak. He knew he had nothing to pay or trade for the map.
If you free Pearl Girl, then you must be powerful. Our fee is simple. May we attend your wedding?
Blue choked. He never said anything of marrying Pearl Girl.
Very well,
Blue answered with some hesitation. They both smiled and slapped their hands together in a loud clap. Producing a leathery old map, the two-headed boy explained the trails, paths, and passes to a witch's castle. Blue didn't know where they got the secret map. They wouldn't tell him, but it was marked with dark red stains. The two-headed boy cared deeply that Pearl Girl be rescued unharmed. Episode 6. Air Fortress. Days later, Blue scanned the broken horizon. He saw on the western peak the decaying castle where the witch conjured. A chilling voice whispered inside his head Blue knew this terrible place. 3 days and 2 nights it took to reach the castle on foot. Blue spent every coin. His gritty clothes were tattered and he shivered from the brisk mountain night air. Clearly, he was a monstrous sight. He was very tired. Secluded by rubble near the castle, Blue watched for sights and sounds which might tell where Pearl Girl was. All he could see and hear was the brewing storm, black as a sooty cauldron. Blue thought he saw a flickering light high up, even higher than the castle itself. Dry lightning flashed, showering the silhouette of a huge hot air balloon anchored to the tallest castle tower by a thick rope. The balloon danced over a black sky warship tossed by pounding invisible waves. The suspended wicker gondola was dark. No one could have foreseen this problem. Discouragement washed over Blue's tired heart. Blue shook his head. Somehow, he knew Pearl Girl was prisoner in the air fortress. With a powerful storm brewing, Blue's rescue was even more perilous. Suddenly, Blue heard a loud clattering nearby. The staggering old witch moved noisily over the gravel. Blue hid it in the darkness.
Good night, pretty girl. Pearls for me tonight. Crying for 3 days. More pearls for me.
The witch greedily staring up at the now dark pitching balloons. Blue smiled. The witch had unknowingly confirmed his hunch. She stopped suddenly and peered in Blue's direction. Blue froze with fear.
Cold, stormy night. Makes me sense. Old enemies?
She muttered. She burst unexpectedly into a delicious cackling howl. Gasping for air, she let out another noxious snorting and slobbering. Blue knew, for some reason, once she started her laughing attack, her rapacious chortles could last for hours. The witch noise signalled like a venomous rattlesnake's tail shaker. She was insane. Her lack of self-control is my ally tonight, Blue thought. Blue roused his courage and bolted into the crumbling castle. As he went deeper into the mouldering darkness, he found the curling tower's stairway. The sound of the witch's blubbering faded as he climbed further and higher. Fearful thoughts drifted in his head. With each stone step he thought, "Pearl Girl, please, be safe." At last, he leaned against the tower's top door. He closed his eyes, turned the bolt, and pushed hard against the thick planks with his shoulder. The door creaked on its heavy hinges. Blue saw the swaying windship tossing wildly in the stormy night gale. Episode 7. Kisses of Love. "Pearl Girl, can you hear me?" Blue shouted up into the whistling wind. He grabbed a rope hanging from a hatch and he went up. He was clinging for dear life to a swaying rope. To and fro he bounced. The juttering boulders below seemed small as pebbles. Blue squeezed his watering eyes shut. Pulling his body weight caused stabs of pain in his hands and arms. Blue's strength was waning. At last, he grasped the heavy wicker basket. It was big as an ocean ship. With a stout kick, Blue popped open a side hatch and fell inside the basket's darkness.
Who's that? Who's there?
Said a female voice in the darkness. It was her.
"Don't be afraid. I've come to help you,"
Blue replied.
"Light your candle."
A quick scratch, odour of sulphur, and the candle flamed.
My friend,
she said, eyes wide.
What are you doing? The witch, you are in grave danger.
"There is one thing that will save us both."
You're risking your life for nothing,
she moaned.
"Stand over here by the hatch. Quickly, we haven't much time."
The balloon ship gave a mighty heave, bashed by swirling waves of wind. Pearl Girl reached out and steadied herself against Blue's arm. Her pearls made an uncomfortable clatter even after the jolt passed. Blue leaned over and tried to kiss her. There was an awkward silence. She turned away and blushed pink.
You're overly confident in a disrespectful way. How will impolite kissing save us?
She asked.
"I know witch law well, I think. I believe kisses of love will release your pearls back to their natural state and revive my memory. And I also suspect your tears are poisonous venom to a witch."
You love me? She asked with disbelief. I'll believe tears are witch poison easier than your professed love. How will I know the truth?
True enough. How will you know for sure? Perhaps by the kiss?
You're crazy, she said, smiling and shaking her shiny locks.
When I kiss your cheek, if my love is true, your pearls will change again to tears. Please, believe, Blue pleaded.
She trustingly closed her eyes. For some reason hopeful in this promised release from pearl bondage, Blue cupped her face in his hands. She looked so gentle and peaceful. A warm jewel entrusted to him, full of faith, without fear of consequence. Blue drew in a breath and softly kissed her cheek. Her eyes popped open in surprise.
Oh, on my bare feet, little drops of rain.
She sizzled excitement. The poem was true. Then she looked up at Blue. Her puzzling brows slowly knotted.
Love's kisses heal growing fears and restore faded early years.
Episode 8. Pearls Burst.
Why are you crying? What's wrong? Your cheeks are stained with tears. Why?
She asked. However grim, sharing their loneliness held the power to their change and growth. Blue wept for both their pains.
All your loneliness, suffering, anguish.
Blue felt very weak.
What are you talking about? She asked.
Your tears. I feel sad and weak as they burst.
Blue softly replied.
Don't kiss me anymore. I understand what you are saying now. Your pain is from mine.
You still have many, many pearls. I will kiss you until I am too weak to kiss you again.
Blue sighed.
If you kiss me again...
She paused.
Kiss me as if it is your last.
She closed her eyes, waiting. So many pearls were still between them, but Blue managed a deep kiss on her soft lips. At that moment, thousands of pearls burst with a splash on the wooden floor. They both started to laugh. Blue fell backward and caught himself against the basket wall. The poem had no warning of the heartache washing over him. The wind crashed against the ship. They both looked at each other with fear. Was the storm to destroy them? Time was slipping by too quickly.
Pearl Girl, what's your real name?
Blue breathed, trying to distract his mind.
Ophelia. My name is Ophelia, after the brightest star in the constellation of magic. What's your name, sir?
I don't really know. Before this night is over, I promise to tell you my name.
She puzzled for a moment.
Don't worry about it, he said. Talk of other things, please. Cheer me from this dark sadness.
Almost all my pearls are gone, all because of you.
He managed a weak smile.
This kiss is my last. I'm dizzy and weak.
Blue stumbled into her arms and she held him. They heard the rope creaking under a heavy load. The witch! Episode 9. Magic Kill. The hatch slammed open. The storm came blasting in. The witch was raging. Blue kissed Ophelia. If death was upon them, his last moment was for her. The kiss exploded pearls, flooding a deluge of tears on the floor.
My pearls!
Screamed the witch.
You prince of dogs! Do you think you could save her? Having a little trouble with your memory, eh?
Blue spun Ophelia away from the witch. He staggered and fell against the basket wall and then the floor.
You will die now, pearly one,
cried the howling witch to the girl.
No, I die first. I stole your pearls with kisses. End my life first,
Blue commanded the storming witch.
With pleasure,
laughed the witch, her wild eyes gleaming for a magic kill. The witch stepped forward to finish Blue where he lay. Her first foot splashed in the pool of tears, and then the second.
What trickery is...
The witch never finished her words. Ophelia covered her face. A stream of freezing air came roaring from the witch's throat. Her arms flailed, grasping at nothing. She shook and vibrated. Time stopped. The entire ship quivered as though the earth shook beneath them. Inflating like a purple gas bag, the witch floated, a slow, spinning cartwheel in the air. Finally, in a blinding flash of purple light, the hag transformed into a harmless golden sparrow. Dropping to the floor, the little bird bathed in the redeeming tears.
Change witch's curse to golden light,
Blue marvelled inside.
Is it okay to touch that little bird?
Asked Ophelia, peeking between her slender fingers.
Yes, the witch is harmless now. Save the bird from drowning in witch poison.
Your precious tears saved us," Blue whispered, sitting feebly propped against the basket wall. Exhaustion seized him. He struggled, slipping beyond sensation. Blackness from pain engulfed him. Episode 10. Freedom Dawns. When he awoke, Blue was still in the balloon basket, lying on a red blanket, his head pillowed in soft comfort. It was dawn. All was calm. They were alive, his pain gone. "Ophelia," Blue said, trying to muster strength to shout.
"Here, love,"
she said, peering out the basket window behind him. She radiated happiness. Blue couldn't help but smile.
"The whole castle below is transformed. Polished marble pillars shine. Everything is perfection. It's incredible. Oh, and I put the golden bird in a little cage. It laid 3 golden eggs," she said.
"The magic golden bird is your ticket to freedom,"
he said.
"The manager will not find you profitable without any pearls."
"Not entirely true, my love. There is 1 pearl left."
There at the end of a solitary thin chain dangled a lonely pearl.
"Maybe you should kiss it away," she teased.
"Oh no, enough kissing. I haven't got the strength."
"Then, poor man, you were at my mercy."
It was no use. She kissed Blue warmly and lovingly in spite of his weakness. The pearl still remained.
"This pearl won't dissolve. In fact, I believe it's glowing brighter."
"Well, 1 pearl won't hurt, will it?"
asked Ophelia.
"I love you,"
he said. Blue felt stronger, but the pearl was still there.
"Kiss me again,"
Blue said. Somehow, Blue's strength was returning fast. The wicked curse was gone. Blue's memory returned.
"I'm Prince Blue. I recognize my castle. The witch cast a spell on me. I ran away. Now I'm whole again. Incredible!"
Ophelia embraced Blue. They danced and cried for joy.
"My dear Blue, my tears, look, they're just wet. No more pearls,"
she laughed. They were 2 of the happiest people in all time. The echo of Ophelia's sorrow in the circus cart was the same voice sounding inside Blue, both longing for freedom and yearning for love. All was changed. Blue's wealth and position restored her. Ophelia's burden gone. He had freed her. She had freed him. Soon they happily married. The 2-headed boy rang the chapel bells while muttering back and forth, head to head over which head thought Ophelia the most beautiful. Episode 11. Fiery White. Now, with their children, Blue and Ophelia live in the transformed sky balloon. It's now a sunny, happy place where their love was first proven. They fly where they will, free and soaring. They drop anchor near mountains, on meadows and beaches. When near a magical beach, they gather seashells from the ocean. Occasionally, they discover a small pearl in the wet sand. Later, in the cool night air near a glowing fire, their eager children beg,
"Please, tell the tale of Pearl Girl."
And accompanied by gushing surf sounds, their mother spins again the magical adventure, showing the bright last pearl as evidence, still dangling around her lovely neck. And, yes, though Blue kisses Ophelia 1,000,000 times, the last pearl never fades or disappears, never one of tears or sadness. Rather, a pearl of enduring love. Pearl of love, glow fiery white. The end.